Hi, this is Tim Hinton, the Beast of the Marching Arts. Welcome to BOA Today. Here's what's going to be happening on this episode. On this episode, we talk with 3 students about their first experience at a BOA Regional. We hear from a college band director about why you should march in college band. A student looks back at their high school BOA experience. And a band director in Nevada explains how he uses BOA competitions to build his program. All on BOA Today.
The Marching Roundtable presents BOA Today, a special podcast created to take you behind the scenes and up close to the great performances, interesting stories, and fascinating people that make bands of America so exciting. The Marching Roundtable is proud to be an official media partner of Music for All. This podcast series is sponsored by Fred J. Miller Incorporated, found at fjminc.com/roundtable.
We talked to 3 students from Cienega High School. So I'm back with Grant Knox from Cienega High School. Grant, you guys were at the Las Cruces, New Mexico Regional. So tell me about what was your experience like there?
It was an awesome experience, a hot one for sure. Band in the southwestern part of the United States never gets easier, especially this time of year. But it was a really awesome event. We were there with bands from Albuquerque, New Mexico, Las Cruces, El Paso. So really just kind of a full-on regional event. And that was the first ever Las Cruces Regional. And so all the students, you could feel it in the air that history was being made, regardless of scores, regardless of placement. It was really special to be a part of that history.
I'm Taylor. I'm a senior this year, and I'm the percussion captain. So I'm in charge of both pit and percussion battery.
I'm Serena. I am the color guard captain. I have been for a few years now, and I'm a senior.
My name's Olivia. I'm the woodwind captain right now, and I'm a bass clarinetist.
Taylor, I'll just start randomly with you. Tell me about your experience at the regional. Had you been to a BOA event before?
Yes, I went to championships in 2019 as a freshman, and it was really cool to see all that. But Las Cruces was a really different experience, and it was different because of the size and because of just like the air around it. I think that there was a lot of like newer bands and bands that don't necessarily get the recognition as like the bands that go to championships. It was a lot different, like in size comparison.
BOA experience, honestly, it was nothing like I've ever experienced for any other competition. We're so used to in-state competitions where, we're with schools that we generally know, and we know like their reputation and how they usually function and how they work. BOA, we've never met any of the other schools that we've been at or like seen, and so I think just like that contrast was really strange, but in a very like good sense, where we could learn from what we did and what we saw so that we can better ourselves for future competitions and maybe for future BOAs.
Band is bigger than the art that we put on the field or the scores that we receive in the score sheet, but it's about the people, the interactions, the way that we make the audiences feel, and the way we feel with each other, whether it's within our own band or outside of our own band with other bands.
Speaking to the culture of band, I think we tried to interact with as many bands as we could during like our off times, and I think that was a great experience because we got to meet people that were similar to us because we are from the same region and we run somewhat in the same way. But I think it was just great to be able to see some new faces and interact with people that we don't see every day, because consistency is good in a certain sense, but learning more and broadening your horizons in this activity is more beneficial than anything.
So for any of you, was there anything that surprised you about something that happened that day, or about someone you met, about like they did something really differently than you were used to? Absolutely, go.
The timing, like when we were waiting to go out for our performance, and then when we were on the field about to do our pre-show, there was a man with a little timer, and he was counting down the minutes and then went 3, 2, 1. I thought it was so cool how it was all timed down to the exact second for each band to be able to come on and off in a timely fashion. I just thought it was really cool because I've never been in a place that like down to the second they timed things and had people switch in and out in such a timely fashion. I just was fascinated by it more than I was stressed out, I think.
It was a fun adventure leading up to BOA because the 6-minute minimum show requirement that they have throughout the season, that was back into place. And I think a lot of us bands had gotten used to pandemic grace, where the show requirement in our local circuits or national circuits were more like 4 or 5 minutes, and especially this early in the season. So there's a bit of anxiety with, are we going to hit the 6-minute minimum, or are we going to get penalized? But certainly on the front end, I think it was a very relaxed, knowing that we were being taken care of by the BOA staff, and they had everything under control, and we just had to worry about performing.
I think that it was just like very organized. With our local circuits, it's kind of chaotic, but with the BOA circuit, it's so like organized down to the very last minute, almost like a bowl game where it's very coordinated and very organized.
I think it was stressful in the sense of, did I have enough time to prepare for this? Am I prepared to go onto that field and do the best that I can do? And I think personally for that run, I think Cart and Guard did amazing with the time crunch that we had. Part 1 and part 2, of course, we have to learn choreography so quickly, and with the amount of practices that we have, sometimes we add in a couple more, we stay a couple minutes late so we can do a couple run throughs here and there, but that really makes the difference. And going onto that field, we have a lot of returners in our guard, but we also have a couple of new people, and so I gave them a pep talk of, hey guys, this is the first time you're going to be on a professional field with people that you don't know. And so I think telling them to don't worry about it, it's just it's almost just like another run through. I think that really calmed them down, and just being on that field, doing the work, it was almost like a dream. It was just amazing. Oh my God.
Yeah. The audience was bigger than I expected, actually, because in my head, I think Las Cruces is like the eastern Arizona where it's just desert and there's nothing out there. I was really shocked and excited to see the stands kind of full with people.
We were so impressed with these 3 students from Cienega High School that we are going to be releasing the entire conversation we had with them about their band program as a Marching Roundtable podcast next week. Watch for that coming next Monday, where they talk about how they've created an inclusive and welcoming environment for all students in their program and how that's really helped them succeed and thrive. Thanks again to those students for talking with me. Up next, Heidi Sarver talks about why you should keep marching in college band.
Well, I'm at the University of Delaware. I'm professor of music here. I've been here for 27 years. I'm director of the marching band. I administrate the pep band. I co-conduct the second concert band. And I also teach marching band techniques, show design courses, things like that for music ed majors. If band got you through high school, what do you think it's going to do for you in college? And band is the greatest thing that you can ever do. And if anybody tells you any differently, they don't get it. That's where you're making your connections. In college, you have great friends in high school, that's fine. But when you go to college, guaranteed the friends that you make in college are going to be the friends for the rest of your life. You're probably going to meet your significant other in college band. I can't tell you how many wedding invitations I get every single year. In fact, I now have a former drum major and a former grad student who met their graduating years. I just got their invitation for the wedding on New Year's Eve. So there we go. I've got something to do New Year's Eve. But those social connections are so critical to your, I'm going to use the word survival and navigation of college. And everything you learned in high school, you continue on in college band. And it's that 2-hour break or hour and a half break, however long that marching band rehearsal is, from hitting the books. Yeah. It's got your social aspects. You've got, you get your serotonin levels built up again from a creative point of view. Clear that head and then go back and study again. But I look at all the incoming freshmen and saying, if somebody tells you not to march your freshman year, you're never going to come back your sophomore year because you've probably filled that time with something else. Right. But you're also going to miss the opportunity to continue doing something you love.
I was thinking, as you're talking, I'm thinking back to my college days, and I was going off to school where I did not know a soul. And I met my best friends in college the first day of band camp when I showed up, And I also went through that before school band camp with the band. So when classes started, I already had a comfort level. I had a place to belong. I had friends. That was so important to me going away from home for the first time.
It's, most likely the largest organization on campus. It's your family. And, everybody else shows up after band camp, and you go into the dining hall and you're going to have a place to sit with a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
And if you have a roommate who's not in band, it's like, can I sit with you? I mean, it's uncomfortable for them. And so you've already established this safe zone, this comfort place that a lot of students, without those other activities in their lives, it's harder to navigate the start of college.
Coming up this weekend are 3 more exciting Bands of America regionals in Louisville, Kentucky, Flagstaff, Arizona, and Katy, Texas. There'll be great performances at all of these venues, and of course the one in Flagstaff is indoors. After this brief sponsor message, we'll be hearing from a band director who's taking his band to that Flagstaff regional. But first, here's a student looking back at their BOA experience from high school days.
Hi, my name is Maddie. I'm from Wiley, Texas, and I did color guard in that Wiley band. Every year my band got the opportunity to compete in the BOA championships in San Antonio, and it was definitely always my favorite part of the year, getting to perform in the Alamo Dome. It was always such a cool opportunity. One year my family had heard about the auditions for the BOA Honors Band, so I decided to audition, and I got the opportunity to be a dancer in the BOA Honors Band for the 2022 Rose Bowl Parade. And it was such an incredible opportunity getting to perform at Disney and in the Rose Bowl Parade. I was so blessed to be a part of such an amazing group of performers, and I got to meet so many cool people, and some I still talk to this day. And even though it got canceled originally due to COVID, BOA and Music for All did such a good job in making sure that we still got the opportunity to perform and do all the things. It was such a cool experience, and it's definitely something I'll never forget.
I am Mac Purdy. I'm the band director at Pinecrest Academy Cadence. We're in Henderson, Nevada. I actually started this program in 2016. I'm the only director they've ever had, good or bad, whatever that may be. And we are excited to have a growing, thriving music program coming out of something that was not so positive over the last couple of years, and it's been a beacon of light for a lot of these students.
That's great. So your band, just even though the school has only been around for a few years, you took the band to some regionals and all the way to Grand Nationals last year. So let me start there and just ask you, why did you decide to take that step so early in the development of the program?
So when I started this program in 2016, I had 34 students total. And I kind of I know where I want to get this. And so part of that was being involved in Bands of America and these types of things. We didn't have a marching band. I didn't have a band. So I had to start with a vision of where we wanted to end up so that I could make a plan for my kids. And this was our first Bands of America Regional, was the second marching band we ever had. So we just kind of, I'm a firm believer in diving in first, and because no one's ever ready. So the only way you're going to get ready is to experience it. And it was more about, I need to get the students exposure to what's out there so that they can see and start and apply, like, oh, that was a great band. Well, let's see how they get there. And then we can have those discussions and bring that back to our building.
So after that very first regional, so early in the program's history, did you notice a change from that? What did the students call from that you found made a difference right away?
Absolutely. in the Las Vegas Valley, it's kind of an island. We're kind of separated from other programs. So the only thing our students see are other bands in the Valley, on occasion a California or Utah band, but it's just right here at home. So getting them exposed to different styles, different approach, different visual packages, it just kind of opened them up to, oh, I didn't know all these possibilities were there. And as soon as we came back the next year for like practice, there was a different drive. There was a different understanding of why I'm asking them to do certain things, or the staff. And it just kind of eased those conversations. Why are we moving more? Well, do you remember when we saw that? Oh, yes. And so it made that transition much easier.
That's really smart. So you're the only band from Nevada to ever go to Grand Nationals. How, is that again because of what you're describing? Just like, or can you just explain that how that felt or what that meant to you?
It was really special. I wasn't sure, and so I reached out to a few of my friends that have been in Nevada for a while, and confirmed we were the first to go. And I don't think it was so much that there aren't bands that are capable, because there's plenty of bands that are capable. It was more of because we are so far from Indianapolis, like deciding to make that expense, deciding to make that trip. And honestly, the fact that we're smaller made that a little more flexible for our school. So we took advantage of that, and we represent Nevada for the first time, and we thought that was a great honor.
Absolutely. So how did you get your administration and your parents on board to take that big trip and that big leap of faith?
It's kind of built into our school. The way that we approach our students is high expectations, high rigor, and to compete at a national level, whether that's academically or other. And so the convincing was pretty easy. I just stated that I'm following our mission statement, our vision as a school, and taking it to a national level, competing at the highest levels. So I have to do this, and they were all on board.
That's great. So I asked you to tell me what's something special about your school and your band. So you've already said a little bit of that. Would you like to say more about that?
Yeah, we're extremely unique. We're a K through 12 free public charter in a city that has lots of schools, lots of large schools, but Vegas is very transient. So getting people to find kind of a home base is kind of hard. So the school choice thing is becoming very popular. We are one of the highest academic rated charter schools in Nevada. So the draw to the academic side was there, but our administration saw that music education is important, and it's important to the students in Nevada, so that we needed to build a program that could sustain that. The fortunate thing and unique thing is, since I'm the only director, I start most of my students in beginning band. I pull them through middle school. And so this is just an extension. When they get to the high school program, it's just, okay, on to the next level of achievement. That's it. So that is unique. I know what my students are. I know where they've been. I know what their habits are. I know what they're great at and what deficiencies they may have when they enter the high school level. Not all directors have that coming into. They get freshmen the first year and like, what do I have at camp? Let's see, what do we need to work with? Who do I need to spend a little extra time with, or who's going to be my superstar that I can lean on? And I kind of know that from 6th grade. So that I'm fortunate, and I understand that's a unique situation.
Well, and I can tell you, as somebody that was a band director for many years, there's something really attractive about having that kind of control. Like, I know they're going to get started right. I know I can take them along year by year in the way that I want to get them where I want them to be. It's a lot of work, though, Mac, doing all of that by yourself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I am fortunate. I do have some staff that help out with, the after school activities and things like that. But as the program's grown, it's a lot on my plate, but it's not anything that I don't take on anything that I don't want to do. I'll put it that way. And just seeing the program grow from 34 to I think this year we have 140 in our program. It's been amazing watching our students like attach themselves to this program, not just because of the music education, but because of the network of friends and just kind of stability of the program. It's just been an honor to do. So I don't mind the hard work and the extra work, because the payoff's huge.
That is really remarkable growth for a school that's not been around very long, particularly given all the setbacks of the last couple of years. So do
Yeah.
you have any tips for how you've been able to grow the program so well?
Yeah, my biggest, what I had to say to myself jumping into this, how can I do this and make this the next thing? And the first thing was take myself out of the equation, get my ego out of the way, and what is going to best serve the students. And if that means I know someone that's better than this than I am, I'm going to find them, pick their brain, bring them into my classroom, have them in front of my students, and I'm not ashamed of that at all. Bring them all in because it's for the kids. If I don't have something that I can give them from my experience, I need to find someone that can.
That's amazing. And I can tell you, Max, after working with so many bands over many years, the best directors are that way. They realize, here's what I'm good at, here's what I'm not good at. I'm going to find great people to come in and do that. I have to tell you, that's really hard. Because I remember when I was a young music educator, I was really afraid that my students would find out all the things I didn't know. And I was afraid to be sort of that vulnerable. So how did you learn to do that and be able to just admit to them and be comfortable saying, I'm not great at this?
I think because taking that approach from the beginning, and since I start them when they start, I talk about failure as part of the process and not knowing things as part of the process. So when I make mistakes, I tell them, I'm going to make mistakes this year just like you're going to make mistakes, and we're going to work through this together. And when it becomes that kind of collaborative environment in the classroom, they thrive. There's no like, I messed up, oh, Mr. Purdy didn't know something. Well, great, let's look it up together and figure it out. But when they mess up, it's no longer a big deal either. So we just kind of work through the next challenge and get there together.
Are there any other stories that are unique to your situation? You've already had a lot of unique ones, but
we did have, this is a recent kind of celebration. We had our first student from our program perform DCI finals. He was part of the Troopers this last summer. Just taking, I mean, I remember him starting in my classroom and then watching him at finals. It's just watching that growth and watching the kids, like that's an exciting moment. And all the students that are currently in the program celebrated it along with him.
that's fantastic. What a great year that Core had, and
Yeah.
such an exciting show. And that's wonderful that he gets to experience that and that you shared it with your whole band family. That's wonderful.
Yeah. And he gets to come back and share his knowledge with our students.
Really, is he still in the school, or is he simply going to come back and instruct?
No, he's in college in the area, so he will step in and bring back some information and share stories and kind of help drive our program even more.
That's fantastic. Wow, I love it. Okay, so is there anything else that you want to share while we're talking? Any advice that you find yourself giving all the time, or I don't know, anything else that you might want to share?
Yes, something that comes up because I get the question, why did you go to Grand Nationals with your third marching band? Why did you go to your first BOA? And I think the advice that I give everyone that asks me this is, what are you waiting for? Get out there and do it. And the thing that I think people put in their mind is, that's my 5-year plan or that's my 10-year plan. Well, that 5-year plan and 10-year plan is a disservice to the kids right in front of you. So we've got to do what's best for the kids in front of you in the classroom, and they're not going to be here in 5 years. So I got to figure out, how can I get them that experience quickly? And it's more about an experience. I'm not looking for, how can we go there and score well? How can we go there and compete? No. The experience is the most important factor. And then the other stuff kind of takes care of itself. So I just say, go do it, figure it out as you go, and stop waiting. Just get out there and do it.
Wow, fantastic advice. I love it, Mac. So congratulations to you and everyone at your school there at Pinecrest Academy of Nevada, Cadence. And I can't wait to, you're going to be at some regionals this year, and looking forward to seeing those performances. We're all looking forward to that very much. Good luck to you and all your students and your band family.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Watch for BOA Today every Wednesday this season from the Marching Roundtable. We take you behind the scenes and up close to the great performances, interesting stories, and fascinating people that make Bands of America so exciting. If you have a story about your band family that you would like us to share, please contact Tim via email at tim@marchingroundtable.com or fill out the contact form at marchingroundtable.com. Marching Arts Education is the home of the Marching Roundtable podcast. We give you access to the top marching arts professionals through live webinars, podcasts, videos, interviews, and online coursework. With over 1,000 podcasts and hundreds of webinars and videos, there are hours of great professional development for you and your staff. Sign up for a membership to Marching Arts Education to get complete access to all webinars, videos, and podcasts, plus discounts on coursework. Many directors are using professional development funds through their school or boosters to make these resources available to their staff. Imagine what you could do with so many great new ideas from the top professionals in our activity. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and sign up for our newsletter to find out about the latest podcasts, webinars, and new content. Find all of this and sign up at marchingartseducation.com.
Marching Arts Education and the Marching Roundtable are proud strategic partners of Music for All. The Bands of America Championships, presented by Yamaha, are a program of Music for All. Music for All's mission is to create, provide, and expand positively life-changing experiences through music for all. For more resources for educators and boosters, please visit advocacy.musicforall.org.